Hello and welcome to episode 18. This episode is a bite-sized guide, the teams in the Women's Super League, episode 1, featuring St Helens, York, Wigan, Featherstone and Leeds. In this episode you're going to hear a bit more from myself as I'm going to be covering Leeds. So, to kick off the show, I'm here with...
Hi, I'm Emily Rudge and I play for St Helens Women's Rugby League team.
Tell us a little bit about St Helens.
So St Helens women's team and the men's team both play in red and white, and both teams, the women's team play from the Totally Wicked Stadium, which is the men's stadium, which is in the centre of St Helens town. Absolutely
brilliant facilities there as well.
Yeah, it's really good set up. We really enjoy playing out at Totally Wicked Stadium, and it's really good that the club let us have standalone games there. So, sometimes we'll play curtain raisers to the men's, but they also open the stadium up for us and let us play our home games there, whether the men are away or whatever. So we've always got that facility, which is great.
So tell us a bit about the area of St Helens.
So St Helens is in the northwest of England, in Lancashire, and it's really close to Wigan, who also have a rugby league team, and Saints and Wigan are big rivals, so that's like the local derby, which is always played, and those matches for the men and for the women are really competitive, and all the fans get really behind those games, and because it is like really close rivalry between the two towns.
So outside of rugby league, what is St Helens famous for?
So St Helens town was well known for coal mining and for glass making, and they were the main industries that went on for the people in St Helens. And there's still, like, Pilkington Glass is still in operation today. We make glass in St Helens, so that's a big part of the town.
So I'm now here with
Lauren Hunter from York City Knights. So we play in amber and black, or yellow, depending where you're from. We currently play at the York St John Sports Centre on Haxby Road, but we will be playing some games at the brand new LNER Community Stadium in York.
So tell us a little bit about the history of York.
It's absolutely full of history. It was originally founded in 71 AD by the Romans and called Iberacum. It's one of the only walled cities in the country where it's surrounded by fortified stone walls, which in medieval times were used as a point of entry to gather money from travellers to fund the city. In the 9th century, it was then overtaken by the Vikings. So we've got the Jorvik Centre, and every year there are Viking festivals and the Dragon Boat Race, which is really, really cool. You get loads of people dressed up and in decorated ships. There's York Minster, which is obviously the focal point. It's got two massive, massive functioning bell towers. And the Archbishop of York is actually their second highest seat in the Church of England, if you're into Christianity and religion. Well, I think the best thing about York is it's the home of chocolate in England and the UK, because it's where Nestle is from. So without York, there'd be no Kit Kats and no Terry's chocolate orange at Christmas.
So tell us something interesting about York.
There's quite a few things, really. I think the quirkiest thing is there's a law and it's specific to York, that on a Sunday, it is legal to shoot a Scotsman with a bow and arrow from within the city walls. So it's not something that obviously we condone. Violence isn't anything we condone. However, a weird one, definitely weird. There's also probably one of the lesser known things about York, the Shambles, which is a really, really quirky designed medieval street, was actually where Diagon Alley from Harry Potter was filmed. So whenever you see that film and he's walking down, getting his owl and his broomstick and on his way to Gringotts, that street is where that's based.
Brilliant. I'm here with
Rachel Thompson. We're Wigan Warriors. We play in cherry and white.
Tell us a little bit about Wigan then.
Yeah, so it's not the most exciting place you'll ever meet, but it's known probably for its pies most of all. People say that they call it a Wigan kebab because Wiganers like to put a pie on a barm cake, so that's what they class as a Wigan kebab. I mean, they are good, so don't knock it till you've tried it. And then I think Wigan's obviously famous for Wigan Pier, which is like it's a little pier in Wigan. That's probably quite well known. Obviously, I think its rugby, well, I would say was more famous than its football, but it has obviously got a football team and a rugby team that play in the same stadium. And that's about it, really.
Wigan Athletic a few years ago were doing really well in the Premier League.
Yeah, and don't we all know about it when they won the FA Cup? Town went mad. But that just kind of shows how often they don't really win things. the town went crazy when that happened, for sure.
I'm now here with
Charlie Blackburn. I play for Featherstone Rovers.
what colours are Featherstone playing?
Blue and white usually, but sometimes we change his kit up. We have turquoise, we have purple.
So tell us a little bit about Featherstone.
We're only a small little town. We're very rugby league based. We've got quite a few rugby league clubs like Featherstone Lions. They have a lot of players. They're a good player pool for feeding up to the Fev Rovers, because obviously they've got both boys and girls teams down there. We get quite the crowd. They're all really behind us when we're playing games and stuff. A lot of the men's spectators stay to watch our games as well, and they give us good publicity. So, because we're so small, it's good to get us all together and get everyone behind us.
That's it. And interesting facts on Featherstone Rovers ladies team. It is the smallest town and place in the Women's Super League. So when they're pulling crowds of 300-400 in, it's from a really small population of less than 15,000. So Featherstone's a former pit town, really famous for that. What's there in Featherstone now?
Now we have a big industrial estate that's just up the road from where we play, and it's got quite a widespread variety of jobs. Like it goes from sweets to pop and to bathrooms. Like there's a big variety of what's up there.
Perfect. So finally we come on to Leeds. They play in blue and amber. They play at Emerald Headingley Stadium and the University of Leeds Sports Park, Wheatwood. They were formed 3 years ago and since then have gone on to massive success, having won the League Leaders Shield, 2 Challenge Cups and the Women's Super League this past season gone. Leeds itself is one of the major cities in the UK. It's home to the fantastic Rydale Interiors, former home to Tetley's Brewery, home to the mighty Leeds United in Yorkshire County Cricket Club. It's home to 3 universities, the 2 major ones being the University of Leeds and Leeds Beckett University. It's also home to the Royal Armouries, a big canal network, and is now home to a large financial district.